Hello. This is me testing and seeing if my partner can hear me speak.
No, not through the headphones.
Hmm, interesting. Can anyone
It's
inch?
running. It's low.
This is just the can anyone hear me? Hmm? All right. I am speaking at quite a high volume, so if people can hear me, but it's at low volume, do let me know, and I'll see what I can do about that. The volume is turned up to max, though, so... Yep, sounds great, says Gamer of the Winds. My love, maybe your video volume was low.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone! This is my first stream. This is very exciting. I hope it all looks and sounds good. So, what we're going to be doing today is just a little preamble here. The music that y'all heard before the stream started here was all from a game that was never released. It was called Mistling. I was really invested in that game. It was a very beautiful concept. A good friend of mine did all the art and, well, not all the art. He did 50% and then a friend of it. Well, it was a student project anyway, and it was really promising and super cool. And I wrote like I think like 30 tracks for it or so. And then it just never happened. And, you know, it happens, you know? Sometimes projects just don't get off the ground, and the team disbanded, and it was all very sad. It definitely represented a huge loss for me because I really loved that game. So what I want to do today is I want to start something that I've wanted to do for quite a while now, which is I want to orchestrate the music that I wrote for that game. Not all of it, but like some of my favorites. And I want to orchestrate it in Dorico. And eventually, I'm hoping to send all of the sheet music away to real performers, have them record it, and then release a mini album of sorts of like the best of from a game that was never released. And to me, that feels really... I mean, that feels great to me. I wanted to do this for forever, but I've just never had the time. And then I figured, hey, you know, I want to start streaming. I need an excuse. So let's do it, right? You know what? I'll increase my mic volume just a little bit and see if that makes it a little better. Yeah, I'm looking at my volume now. It seems like it's going a little louder than it did. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing today. And the one that we're going to be doing today is, I think, Golden Leaves, which is the one that you heard just before I started here. I'm just going to play some of it for you. And if you're still in the chat, please let me know if you can hear this. Awesome. Wonderful. I'm so excited about this new audio setup, by the way. I got a new audio interface a little while ago which has this loop back feature. Shout out to my good friend Steven Frober for that one. Basically, it just makes it so that what I'm hearing in my headphones is what y'all hear. When I just started this stream, I did have the volume on in my browser, which resulted in an ungodly mess, which I have now tamed. But yes, Golden Leaves is the one we're going to be doing. So we're going to just be working a little. And if y'all have any questions, by the way, about Dorico or what I'm doing or anything at all, just talk to me in the chat and I'll respond. So we are going to add some instruments. So for Golden Leaves, that was my start menu. We will want to use... okay, so there's a Celesta in here. That's actually like the main feature almost of this one, I think. Do I have feedback on package loss? I have no idea what you mean, my friend. Do you mean streaming stuff? I'm very new to all of this. It's very exciting, but also very scary. All right, so we have a Celesta, and then you know what? So this is the thing that I don't like about Dorico. I added an instrument. I kind of changed my mind halfway through, and then I end up with an empty-handed player that I now have to delete. But yeah, Chef, if you can. Oh, frame block. Yes, I do have data on that, and currently YouTube is telling me that I have a quote-unquote excellent connection. So hopefully it's good. I guess I'll have to check the VOD later and see if it sucked. But yeah, it looks like it's great. But yeah, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to add some instruments, and here we will again with Dorico you kind of need to know what you're doing before you're doing it. Oh, I'm not showing my cursor, am I? Oh, I don't know if you need that. Well, you let me know if you want to see my cursor. I'll see if I can. Yeah, I guess it's worth mentioning that Chef is currently streaming me from Adelaide, so it's like it's a bit far away from Sweden. Maybe there's a bit of a travel time between, you know. Oh yeah, okay, Mats, that's a good point. Hang on, let me just check this for a second. Advanced mic. Can I? Mono. Okay, that should be better, right? I just did it mono summed in OBS, so you should hear me equally in both ears now. Sorry about that one. I'm just figuring it out as I'm going along here. Awesome. Hi, Ro. Great to see you. I'm really happy you decided to just stop by. I hope to make this a weekly reoccurrence, by the way, every Sunday. So, heck yeah, we have my voice in both of your ear holes. Wonderful. Anyway, so let's do this. So I added a Celesta, and let's just go ahead and add some multiple instruments here. So violin. Why? Okay. Yeah, sure. 2 violins. One viola. 1 cello. No, not clarinet. So is this going to be section players or solo players? You know what? Maybe I should just add it like this instead. Violin. Yeah, we want section players for this one. And another violin. Yeah, that's right, Chef. You would be hearing just a mono sum thing anyway through your phone, but yeah. And yeah, no, it isn't Twitch. I have yet to decide whether or not I'm going to stream through YouTube or Twitch, but it seems like YouTube might be the better option. I guess we'll see. Nope, that's not the one I wanted. This is the one I wanted. And then we just want to do this. No, not the build option. We want this one. I'm doing this very slowly because I'm still not quite entirely used to how Dorico does this. What's the short command for this? Shift S? No. Hang on. New section player. Alt Shift P. All right. Alt Shift P. Double bass. Mats is asking, is there any audible difference between solo players and sectional players? It depends, but yeah, I would say so. So let's see. I'm just gonna see if I can. So that's like a full section, right? If I just add a violin like this, right? That's gonna be a solo violin, and that's gonna be. So of course this is Note Performer doing all the magic here. But yes, what would end up happening is if a section player, that means that it's like a full section of string players, right? Whereas if I just go solo single player violin, well, then it's just one violin. So if I wanted to add a violin solo, I would do that. Okay, let's think about Golden Leaves for a little second here. So we have a Celesta. My God, scary, says Chef. It's not scary. It's fun and wonderful and good. Uh, it's music. Music isn't scary. All right, so let's see. We have a string section here. One thing that I really, really like about Dorico's latest version, the main big version, 4, we're up in now, right? Jesus, I just forgot. Yes, we are at Dorico 4. Is that we are now getting automated scoring order when we add our new instruments. That is not a thing we had before. The instruments just got added in just the order you added them in, and then you had to drag them around, and that was not good. It could get very convoluted and complicated very quickly. Okay, so we have a big string section, and we have a Celesta. We also have a solo flute. And we also have, yeah, you'll notice that the flute is just jumped up to the top there. Oh yeah, Mats, you haven't upgraded. If you haven't upgraded to Dorico 4 yet, honestly, when you can afford the upgrade, it is worth it. The amount of quality of life upgrades that or updates that they added, it's through the roof. It's insane how much good stuff they added. Then we want to do a clarinet, and I'm thinking we're probably going to add more instruments as we go along here, because this is a very sparse orchestration, right? Do we really want to do I think we're just going to do this instead. I might migrate this to a project with like flows in them and stuff later, but for now let's just do one project per music. How much is it? What was the cross grade from 3.5 to 4? Was it around $100? Something like that? I want to say, nah, maybe a little bit less. I'm sorry, I just actually don't remember, but let me just check for a second. Dorico cross grade 3.5 to 4. It is. Let's see how yeah, they're going to try and hide how much this is going to cost, huh? Okay, so it's a bit more. From 3.5 to 4, it's actually oh wow, almost $200. Well, that's actually still, like, it's a bit worse, but it's not that terrible. And again, you do get a ton of features for it. And, you know, the Dorico team have to eat somehow, right? It's like, I'm not the biggest fan of paying for new upgrades all the time, but at the same time, you know, people have to eat, and I would rather have this, like a voluntary upgrade model, than a subscription model where you have to pay and then you don't even know what you're getting, right? So here, they release a new great, wonderful update. They you know, release a lot of videos that display, you know, every single thing that they added, and then you get to make the choice. And honestly, I think that's probably the best. I mean, then again, I'm a Reaper user, right? I pay $60 and then I use the same thing for like 2 years until the next main version comes out, at which point I just pay another $60. So, yeah. But then again, you know, not everything can be free. Yes. So, in my original... yeah, that's probably true, Gamer of the Winds. It's a sad fact, like, that, like, a lot of companies try to hide the price. Yeah, I mean, I know, Chef, right? I mean, I'm often on Twitter advocating for Adobe alternatives, because I think Adobe's entire model is terrible. Yeah, right, Mats? That's what I was what I had in my mind. Maybe that was maybe I looked for something else. Oh, you know what? That might have been a cross grade 3.5 from 2 that I was looking at. This would be from 3.5 to 4, so that was a bit cheaper. So around $100 or 1,000 kroner. I think that's reasonable for the amount of content that you'll get. And I can briefly show you what Dorico 4 looks like, because it really is pretty cool. But I've been talking a lot and I haven't been arranging a lot. So let's look at the instrumentation here. Again, the original is very sparse, and in the original, my strings are pulling a lot of weight. And also, this was Baby Frederick, writing music. So every single thing in that, what you heard there, was Garriton Personal Orchestra, which was what I lived and died by back in the day. I was using Cubase and Garriton Personal Orchestra, and that was it. And then my idea of mixing was basically, I'll just slap a reverb on the master, and that'll be fine. It's like, I've come far since then. I'd like to hope, at least. But yeah, so my strings are doing a lot of work there. But let's try and just do what we can with what we have for now. And then if we find, as we will, oh right, there's some percussion too, I forgot. I will absolutely figure out eventually that I want some more stuff. I'll likely complement the woodwind choir with like a bassoon, maybe another clarinet, likely an oboe or something, you know, for extra flavor and color. We won't do any brass for this one, I think, but we might add some other stuff. Heck, we might add a tiny little choir just to add some warmth to the strings, you know? And then what's so good about Dorico is I can just jump back in here and do that. Well, the other programs do that too, but Dorico kind of separates it. So if anyone who's watching hasn't used Dorico before, Dorico is split into these like 5 sections. So you have the setup section here, and in setup, this is all you do, right? You set up your players and you set up your layouts. Layouts and players are connected to a flow, which is down here at the bottom. I don't tend to use flows a whole lot. I have another orchestration project going right now. Some of you will have seen that on Twitter. I'm doing a Within a Deep Forest orchestration for fun again. This is all for me. And for that one, I'm trying to use flows. So what you can do then is you can kind of add all the instruments to the left-hand side here, and then you can kind of decide what flow gets to use what instruments, which is kind of cool. And also it kind of lets you organize the whole thing into one project instead of having a ton of project files. That said, the project file does get quite large because it does kind of think of it as one huge score with little separations in between. So if you're gonna do like an entire film score, I don't know if I would do it like this. But then again, you know, I haven't stress tested it with like, you know, 40, 50 cues in a row. That might be a different story altogether. I don't know. Dorico is a little hungry for resources though, so it tends to slow down after a little bit. And then you have write, which is where we're going to be spending most of the time today, which is where we write stuff. This is where all the writing happens. Layout corrections and stuff, though, if we want to move things around more freely, that happens in the engrave tab. And this is where we want to, like, if I want to move like a box of text, that's what I'll do that here. If I want to change anything about like how the text up top is looking, well, we want to do that here. We have a play tab as well. Let's see here. So what you're saying is that there's not going to be an isolated drum solo in the intro with only the bass. Well, I'm going to leave. Yeah, I'm sorry, Chef, not this one. If you all want some more fun, weird experimentational stuff, that is going to be the within the Deep Forest orchestration thing, which I will be working on next Sunday, I think. This is more of a test to set things up. Thank you, Chef. Take care, sleep well, and talk to you soon. And, you know. And yeah, after Engrave, we have... Hey, Acapella! It's great of you to join. I'm just explaining what I'm doing here before I get to work. So yeah, we have the play tab. The play tab is going to be completely irrelevant to me because I'm using Note Performer, and Note Performer is basically an extra layer of abstraction on top of what Dorico... Like, normally in here, we would actually have a pretty sophisticated, like, mixer with effects and stuff that I could use. But since I'm not using that, the routing is all sorts of bonkers, and it's not going to work at all with the mixer tab, like, or the mixer things here. So we're not going to be using this. And then ultimately, when we're done, we're going to go to print, which is where we do the final corrections. And there's a little weird thing that happens here on the right hand side, which I don't entirely know why it happens, which is that I don't see all of the information. I'm not entirely sure why that happens, but oh well. Oh, that's fine, Acapella. I'm just really happy you joined. I'm streaming at a very inopportune time. I am, as most of you know, I'm in Sweden, so for me it's like 3:30 in the afternoon, and that's kind of chill. And for most of my American friends, it's quite early in the quite early in the morning, right? It's like 8 or 9. Ah, well, okay, Mats. Great, Dorico team. I got you a purchase. I'm very happy to hear that, Mats. Let me know what you think about it. I love it. I think it's a huge improvement over 3.5. So let's start. So, excuse me. If I sound a little ill, I've had a few health issues these couple of weeks, and I'm only just recovering. So, So, when it comes to key signatures in my arranging, I've more and more started to just not. I used to be very into the whole thing about like, well, putting a key signature, and that was important. Like, for instance, to be fair, right? Golden Leaves, this one is in D major almost the entire thing. It kind of briefly goes back down into like a, what is it, like a B flat, C, and then. So it kind of changes key just at the end. But I think, honestly, I'm going to do what I normally do these days and just write everything in C with temporary accidentals instead, because that's just easier, right? All right, so also, this is Lydian mode, the track, by the way. It's a lot of just this it's just that, a whole lot of that. But yeah, let's listen to what I'm doing here at the start. I'm gonna just delete everything else in this playlist so I don't accidentally start playing something else. So I'm going to try and start by determining the tempo that this is in. I might actually not be able to do that. Yeah, I know, Mats. I'm justifying it by thinking of this as a film score, which is kind of like, yeah, I don't know, they'll just read cautionary accidentals instead, or temporary accidentals. But, I mean, I could, you know, I just haven't. Like, my latest really large orchestra arrangement is for something I can't talk about yet. But for that one, it just jumps around in keys all the time, and there was just no point. I would have had to change key signatures like every 3 or 4 measures, and it would have been very messy. Anyway, let's just put a little descriptive text on this gently. Yeah. Now, a quirk with Dorico is you might notice that there is no time signature, which is fine, right? I mean, it's not fine, but there is no time signature, so we can maybe assume that it's 4/4. But if I just start writing now, first of all, let me skip to galley view, which is going to give us just a nice left to right view. So this looks this doesn't look very good, does it? There are no measures here. So what's happening here is that Dorico is just very theory agnostic until you tell it what you want it to do. So at this point, I haven't actually told Dorico that there is a time signature, and therefore Dorico assumes free meter, which is cool. But I will run into a little bit of a problem if I try to add bars. Let's say I want to add 10 bars to this, and Dorico just goes, nah, don't do that. To add bars, first add a time signature. Like, if you want to add more time but no time signature, this is what, like, you want to add more time. Okay, instead enter a duration like 4Q. Okay, hang on, I just got to try this. What was that, 4Q? Okay, I kind of like that, actually. It's just, you can just add like a quarter note's worth of length without any real like rule set to it. But let's press Shift M to get the popover for time signature, and then press 4 and 4 like that. We're going to just write 4/4, and now we have a time signature, and suddenly we have a couple of measures. And if I already know, right, that I will need more measures. So I'm just going to click the end line here. I'm just going to press Shift B for bars and just add like 40, and there we go. And now we have some room to play with. You know what? Let's see. What kind of mode is that? Oh man, my music theory brain is completely shot today. That's still Lydian mode. Oh my god, that is hilarious. Well, I guess it goes from D minor or D Lydian to B flat Lydian then. But let's not bother. I cannot be bothered with this. Okay, so first of all, we have that little nice, right? We're just gonna add that. Since it's gonna be very gentle and soft and kind, this one, I think we're gonna do a Divisi already. What are you you're doing Divisi and you like haven't even started yet. I know. People who are familiar with my string writing, if any of Ethereal String Orchestra watches this at any point, they will roll their eyes because I tend to Divisi a whole bunch. But in this case, I think it makes sense because I actually want to split. I want to split these two notes across the first violins, effectively making it so that fewer violins will play each note, right? So let's just right-click, go to Staff, and go to Change Divisi. And we're just going to go ahead and press this little button, which is Add Section Division. And that'll just split this into 1 and 2. And if I press OK now, there we go. So we actually get a little signpost here. I normally hide signposts, mostly because I think it's annoying that they're there, but sometimes they're useful, right? They're very useful in, like, if you want to do, like, tempo changes that involve, like, swing and stuff like that, they're very nice to have. But yeah, so let's split this between, like this. Well, that's very high up. Why are you putting that as red? That is absolutely playable. Let's just increase that. Let's just do that. And of course, these are playing with tremolo. So I'm just going to press Shift R for repeating structures, and then type / and that makes it a tremolo. So this doesn't always translate to string players, I've found. Sometimes they can get a little confused by this and try to play like 30-second, like very measured tremolos. Mostly what I see is that if I want an unmeasured tremolo, right, this is what I should be writing. So I've been sticking to that, and if people have questions, they usually ask me. All right, so that's what we do, and we also want to have Shift D for dynamic and very silent and soft. And then a little greater than sign, or less than sign, excuse me. So that's going to be nice. then we're just gonna do another half note here. There we go. Just put you there instead. Should I tie those together is the question. So now it's going to be less of me being informative and cool and fun and talking and stuff, and it's going to be me mostly thinking and concentrating a lot. So I apologize for that, but if you have any questions, just let me know in the chat. Yeah, we're just going to put this down here. Emma asks, was there anything in the original track that was just synth, or was everything already based on a real instrument? I'm not sure what you mean, honey. I'm sorry if I'm misunderstanding you there. She's being very good here, and she's typing instead of talking to me, even though we're sitting in the same room. Maybe I'll drop the tempo down a little bit. I'm so sorry, my love. I'm not understanding what you mean. Like, do you have to assign anything to real instruments? Is that...
Is there anything that is like, oh, this melody line that I have here, what should I put that in?
Oh, okay. No. I think it's a pretty straightforward conversion, honestly, because everything is kind of written just as I want. Like, of course, that was 10 years younger me, and I didn't really know that much about orchestration at that point. So I was mostly going with what I felt was right. But I had in mind that I wanted it to be played by real people already. So yeah, that's what you meant. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out what it is that I did here. One thing that I could have done, I just chose not to, was that I could have just imported the original MIDI. But, and I do have that floating around somewhere. But I would rather just rearrange it. So let's try and figure this out for a second here. Like... I am not entirely sure what I'm doing at the start here with all of these time signatures, so this is interesting. What I might do is I might do less of a straight conversion, and we might just do... I might just go with my gut for this one instead. So let's lower this tempo a little bit here. Let's. So yeah, it's already getting very messy with the dynamics because the instruments are so high up, like the notes are so high up with all the ledger lines. I'm wondering if maybe for now it would be okay to just put, excuse me, like this. I will change this later because I've actually spoken, like the violin players I've spoken to normally prefer that you don't do this. This would just be for me because they're playing so high up. So it's just easier for me to see what's going on here. I do like that the Ottawa clashes with the dynamics though. That is choice. But yeah, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna add an Ottawa marking here for now, and then I'll remove that later, so I don't anger any violin players. And then we just want to do a little. I think it's probably 16th notes. Right, but we also want to make sure that this is played kind of in their own tempo. Like it doesn't have to be exactly rigid, right? All right, we should probably specify that it is quite soft. Honestly, so this is where this is what I love about writing stuff like this, right? I always have to do a lot of research whenever I write anything because I am not classically, like, formally trained in this. Every single thing that I know about orchestration is stuff that I've picked up from books, from YouTube videos, excuse me, and from writing my own stuff and having people play it. So I always have to do a lot of searching and checking things out and learning stuff as I go. So for now, let's just check here. Celesta dynamics. That wasn't exactly what I wanted. Yeah, so that was kind of what I suspected. Like a Celesta is touch responsive, but not so much as the piano. Oh man, let's see. It would be really cool to find a good article about this. Dynamic. No? The VSL library is usually a good place to go to when you want to read more about instruments. They have nice, just vsl.com or .co.at, and then it's just finding the instrument in question. Like they usually have really nice, like, summing up sections of the different instruments. Let's see here. Dynamic range is limited. Okay. Heart attack results in a somewhat piercing sound. Yeah, we don't do that. It's relatively quiet. Cannot make itself heard in an entire orchestra. Yeah, no, that is that tracks. Most of us probably know of the Celesta mostly from Harry Potter, right? From the Harry Potter the score by John Williams, Hedwig's theme, and so on. And played by the amazing Randy Kerber, who plays some absolutely insanely virtuosic passages. And I did notice when I listened to that music that there wasn't a whole lot of dynamic range to it. Um, so if I'm going to translate this is my head, I'm just going to go, because like part of orchestration, right, is like me trying to figure out like how do I make this instrument work, right? Is this audible? Because when I do things with virtual instruments, I can just crank up the volume on anything, right? I want to have the Celesta louder than anything else. I can have that, right? But if I want to orchestrate it for real musicians, I mean, of course, in this case, right, I will be getting stems from the different musicians, and so I can cheat and I can bump up the volume of the Celesta and lower the volume of the rest of the orchestra. That is an option. But I also, when I write things for real instruments, I always try to think of the whole like the entire section and the entire orchestra as a unit, even though I will have individual control. Because if I start dragging faders up and down and like making the Celesta louder than everything else, like even if I can do that just fine, the listener will kind of pick up that something is kind of off about that. Like it doesn't sound authentic. So I want to keep the characteristics of the instruments in mind when I do this anyway. Okay, so also, rubato doesn't necessarily mean on your own time. It basically just means play exactly this, but you can kind of drag out some notes and then make some notes a little shorter, but you still have to arrive at this destination. So I might notate this differently later. We'll see. But yeah. Yeah, so just... And then I think we're just gonna go with grace notes. 30 seconds? Yeah, I think so. And then go off the grace notes again. That might be a nice thing. Do I have to specify pedal markings for a Celesta? Celesta pedal. The 3-octave instruments do not have a pedal. 4 or 5-octave models usually have a damper pedal that sustains or damps the sound. The 3-octave instruments do not have a pedal because of their small tabletop design. Interesting. So this tells me that I might need to do a little orchestration life hack. I might need to double this with something else, and I'm thinking that I might want to double it with a vibraphone. Not only will that make it sound louder, but it will also, because the vibraphone can be sustained, so in that case, that will probably make this, because what I'm going for is an effect that the Celesta itself might not be able to convey. Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the stream now. It's very exciting. It says 14 views. I don't actually know if that means that I have 14 people watching. I'm sure there's a great way to find that out, but if anyone is in the chat and you haven't said hello yet, then please do so. I would like to know if anyone else is watching right now. And of course, if the stream is still working, am I making sense? Is there anything that that you want to know more about? But yeah, I'm wondering if that's the case, is there a point to putting a slur across these? I mean, it would be just, I guess it could make sense just to show the intent of the phrasing. Now I'm wondering. Hedwig's theme. Score. MuseScore.com. No. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay. Well, this... let's see. PDF. I'm not sure if this is someone who has actually written this themselves or if this is something... Ah, man. It would be really, really, really cool to get official sheet music. That's a thing, right? I'm not going to go on a huge long rant about this, but it's really annoying how difficult it is to find official sheet music from films, right? Like, just recently, let me show you this. Maybe this will be, I don't know. This might be backwards, but I recently got this. Yeah, it's backwards. But it is the official print of the Independence Day score by David Arnold, which is absolutely amazing. It's a 300 plus pages of just music, right? Just all the music. And you can just I watched the movie just the other day, and I just followed along with the sheet music. It was so much fun. This should be standard. This should be available everywhere for every big movie or every movie in general, right? Like, why is that not a thing? The most instructive thing for us, like amateur hobbyists, orchestrators, is to just listen to stuff and read along. And the fact that it's not available like widely for everyone is a bit of a travesty, in my opinion. All right, so it seems I'm not seeing any like conclusive evidence for or against this, but it does seem as if at least I should use slurs to mark phrasings, even though the Celesta can't do any pedaling, so you know the notes can't bleed into each other. But I should still indicate phrase markings as you would do with like piano and stuff, even though you don't do a sustain pedal. Yeah, Emma has a point. It really is beautifully done. It's like listed, of course, in like cue order and all of the things, and every single one of the cues in the book that I just showed there has like they have little text boxes that they had in the original sheet music where like, oh, this character says this, or like zoom in on the president face there, or like shadow over the ground there, and it's just really cool. It's very easy to follow along with too, and extremely instructive, right? That's something that I want so many people to do. I want all major motion pictures to just release all of their music in sheet music form. But I guess there might be a rights issue or something. I don't actually know. All right, let's try and concentrate a little bit here. I think I'd rather have this as a... Whoa, nope. Can I? Triplets are a thing that I never quite learned how to do in this. Let's see. There. Yeah. Was that enough? I would rather have that as a... There we go. And then we probably want... Hey. That's not how it is it? No. Can I just undo those? I can. And then I can just do insert mode, right? And then I can just do this. Yep, there we go. But that's too much. Yeah, that's closer. You know what? Let's do that. And move those a little earlier. Hmm. Yeah. It starts too late, I think. I want to start this entire phrase a little earlier. Yeah, that's better maybe. Let's see. Yeah, that's better. No, that's not. Whoa. Oh, that's outside of the ottava marking. I was like, what's happening there? Okay. Uh, yeah, remember, Dorico isn't actually messing anything up. It is just doing what I am telling it to do, and I told it to do a stupid thing, so it does the stupid thing. There we go. You know what? We probably want to split up the violas as well. Let's do that. Just for fun. And we probably want to do that from the start. Otherwise, the violas will be very confused as to why they weren't split up to begin with. So let's do that from here instead. Hmm. Let's just get the notes down first, and then we can kind of focus on getting the dynamics right and everything. Yeah, why not? Let's split up the cellos as well, but from the start. So again, doing divisi like this is a technique where you basically lower the overall dynamic of the string choir, because if one, like, if all of the first violins, you know, depending on how many that may be, right? That there might be any number of different pairings. But basically, I lost my train of thought here. Yeah, so like you could have like 16 or 12 or 16 first violas, right? Or violins. Let me check the wiki here just to say that, just to check that I'm not lying. Yeah, that's a large symphony orchestra. So yeah, we have 16 first violins, 14 seconds, 12 violas, 10 cellos, and 8 double basses, right? So in that case, what you're looking at is like 16 people just playing this note. But if I do divisi, well, now I have 8 people playing this note and 8 people playing this note. And if I ask them both to play a pianissimo dynamic, then we get a much softer sound. And so I'm doing that for all of these here, except the second violins, which might be a mistake, actually. Yeah, it probably is. Let's divisi them as well. There is a different way I could do this, but I'm gonna do it like this for now, and then I can kind of think about this later. Yeah. Right, let's just listen to this again and figure out what the dynamic curve should be here. Yeah, this is where we want to start the B set or the next section. I'm just going to put a little rehearsal marker over there just so I know. It's not entirely pitch perfect yet, right? It's not exactly what I want, but it's getting there at least. A lot of me arranging stuff is just me listening to tiny parts, going back and forth, correcting things, you know, moving things around. But yeah, we just want to. We want to. I think we're gonna just take all of these 3 hairpins here, and we're just gonna extend them all. Oh, I can't do that, huh? No, I cannot. Okay, I guess I'm gonna have to do that individually. Sure. Because I think we want to be at like a mezzo forte here, I think. And then we want to swiftly go back down again to like a pianissimo. We want to have that over there. Man, that did not work at all, is it? The way I wanted it to. There we go. And we can do like a piano. Yeah, that's gonna work, I think. We can just copy that dynamic over here and here. And then we can just copy all of this. There we go. And then just do this. Yeah. Am I going all the way down there? No, I'm not. That is... well... oh. Yeah, let's skip the double basses for now because they're gonna do a pizzicato thing later. Is all of this tremolo? Yes, it is. Cool. All right, let's do that then. Have I put y'all to sleep? I'm not seeing any interaction from the chat, which is entirely fine, by the way, if you don't want to talk or anything. I want to make sure that I'm not like extremely boring or anything. Let me know if you're still around, won't you? Maybe you've muted me at this point, which is entirely fine. Thank you, honey. At least you're here with me. Then again, even if I weren't streaming, you would still be hearing all of this. So I'm very grateful that you don't find me boring. I guess it is a bit of an ask to ask people to just sit and just look at things like this happening. Yeah, that's a point, isn't it? This is actually lower down. It's an entire octave down. Yeah, maybe we don't need this for the VC then. Maybe we should just not do that instead. Yeah. And then just put this as a mezzo piano instead. Yeah. First of all, thank you, my love, for pointing that out, because I never added the percussion, did I? And second of all, depends on what you mean by properly. Note Performer does have a wind chime, absolutely, or a mark tree, as Dorico calls it, because that is the proper way of doing it. I thought it was called a wind chime. Turns out it's called a mark tree. So I can play, I can just add a note in Dorico that just like, that's a mark tree, right? And Note Performer will play a thing. But do I have any sort of control over how long that is? The direction from high to low or low to high? No, not at all. So that's going to be in my head, and I'm going to have to write instructions for whoever's going to perform this so that they know. Because no, that's not a thing, unfortunately. Let's just add a mark tree, and let's add a suspended symbol. And also, let's add a triangle. I had that vibraphone idea, which might still be a good idea. Might not be a good idea at this point, since the Celesta player is allowed to play pretty rubato. At least here. Should I have that extend? Well, I guess we'll see, won't we? Maybe I actually... Yeah, no, I do want this. Yeah. I'm gonna keep that device, or divided up. That isn't doing exactly what I want it to. But that is pretty much what it's doing. Yep. This is just me, I'm used to the Garrett person, the orchestra version of this, and I am not hearing that, so it feels weird to me. But yeah, no, that is correct. Then we just need to fade this. Yeah, let's move this up to a mezzo piano. And then up to like a mezzo forte, and then down to a pianissimo again. Yeah, except I want you here, and I want you here. And then I want you to do the same there. Yeah. You know what? It would make sense to have the Celesta only play these first two measures on its own, but then it could be joined by a vibraphone in measure 3. Yeah. Yeah. Why the heck not? Let's add a vibraphone. Just for hoots and giggles. Is that too high? Sure is, isn't it? How high does... I added a 3... Yeah, this was a 3-octave version. There was a 4-octave version. And since I am currently allowed to live in a world where I decide how many octaves this vibraphone has, I'm going to add a 4-octave version of it instead of a 3. And then maybe this is gonna be okay? No, it's not going to be okay. Okay. Vibraphone range. 3 octaves. Okay, so I'm guessing a 4-octave version of the vibraphone isn't really something that you do. Okay. How annoying. Curses, I have been foiled. All right, well, I guess we're not going to do that then. I guess we're going to ignore this little fun instinct that I had, and we're not going to do that. As to why Dorico is marking these notes as red, I'm not entirely sure. They are entirely playable by a violinist. So Dorico's range colors are sometimes a little off, I find. It tends to get very stingy with the horns and F as well, where it just goes, nah, you can't play that. And I've sent that to a horn player, and they're like, yeah, of course I can play that. I can play like an octave higher than that. What's even the deal? And I don't know. But, you know, we're not here to judge Dorico, because Dorico does know best, let's not forget. Dorico knows what we want to write before we write it. Now, I was singing Dorico's praises a lot before, and I still am. I love Dorico, but what you have to kind of keep in mind when you work with Dorico is that Dorico does know best. And if you want to make Dorico do something that isn't normal behavior, you can, but Dorico isn't necessarily gonna like you for it and might fight you. Okay, so there's another thing that so, of course, obviously, right, when I wrote the original, I didn't have a time signature in mind. I didn't have a tempo. Well, I did have a tempo, right? But I didn't really have any kind of time measurements in mind. I just did what felt nice at the time. But as I'm listening to this now, I'm realizing that this part here is a little too long. So I'm thinking maybe we want to shorten this to a 3/4 just to get that, like, to get the fade out to the pianissimo slightly shorter, and then we can bounce back up to a 4/4 again. Let's listen to this again and just kind of think about what we might want to do here. Yeah, I think it's going to be great if we just add a 3-4 right here. And then we're going to just bump it back up to a 4-4 right there. And that's going to solve all of our problems in one fell swoop. Yes. Maybe. Get back there. Nope. Did I move the whole thing? Yes, I sure did. Okay, now that's not what I told you to do, Dorico, and I'm frankly slightly disappointed that you did that. Why are you doing this? Okay, stop. So that's another thing that I haven't, and that is actually on me though. I should absolutely, there's a setting for this. Dorico tends to group all of its dynamics when you add them, and it does that because, of course, if I just do the dynamic popover and I go like P, crescendo, P, pianissimo, that's a terrible example, mezzo piano, decrescendo, pianissimo, decrescendo, niente, right? Well, then Dorico is going to write that as one linked dynamic, and it's going to kind of guesstimate where it thinks I want to put things. However, that's not always what I want, and in that case, I always have to go in and ungroup the dynamics afterwards. Now, I am fairly sure that there is a setting for never grouping dynamics. In fact, let us go on a little bit of a menu hunt, shall we? So in Dorico 4, they actually put a lot of stuff up in the library menu here. The library menu is completely new for Dorico 4, and they just added every single thing that has to do with settings up here, which is actually, I think, really smart. So where might this be? I could just Google for this, but let's not. Let's, dynamics. Would that be an engraving option or a notation option? Maybe an engraving option. Let's go ahead and go dynamics. Yes, dynamics. No. Gradual dynamics. No. Probably not, huh? Group. That's staff labels. Okay, not engraving options. Let's go ahead and look at notation options then. Dynamics. Nope. Okay, hang on. Let's just do this instead. New tab. Dorico always ungroup dynamics. There is a Dorico forum thread for this. There is a preference for whether Lilia Harris, one of the great people over at Dorico. So what you also should know about Dorico is that its support and community, unparalleled. A little snobbish sometimes. That comes with the territory. I feel Dorico is supposed to be the advanced version, right, of music notation. Advanced. So it does, and it does know best. Let's not forget that. So there is sometimes a little bit of an air of superiority, but mostly a lot of them are just super friendly. I mean, the boss of Dorico, the dude who's basically in charge, Daniel Spreadbury, is a delightful human being and will just legit talk to you on Twitter. If I just, sometimes I just go, why is this not a thing in Dorico? And then 10 minutes later, like on a Saturday morning, Daniel Spreadbury will just chime in and go, oh, hey, you do this and this. And I'm like, oh, thank you. It's like, I didn't expect you to do that. Thank you. Oh, no. The page cannot be found. Okay. Well, I just praised you for that. But then... Oh, hang on. Oh, there's a general setting for that. Is it just in preferences? In note input and editing, huh? Scroll down. Link dynamic. Oh, when pasting. Oh. Alright, I'm assuming that maybe it's just the way that I add dynamics that screws with things then. Yeah, probably, huh? Oh, well. Not super important. It would have been cool, but not incredibly super important. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm selecting something, and then I'm using Control Alt and the arrow keys to move, like shuffle things left and right. Generally in Dorico, you don't want to use your mouse. The less you use your mouse, the better. You want to use shortcuts, shortcut keys, the popovers. You want to use all of those things. You do not want to do like mouse dragging. So like while I could like take this pianissimo marking and drag it right back or forth like this, you shouldn't because Dorico isn't built around that way of working. This sometimes messes with people when they are. So I just did that there out of sheer habit. Like if you're coming from like Finale or Sibelius for that matter, you would be used to just being able to just drag stuff around, and that would work for you. And then you would then come to Dorico, and Dorico won't let you do that, or it will do that, but excuse me, reluctantly. So that's just a good thing to keep in mind, right? Okay. Okay. That's... Why did you do that? That's not at all what I wanted you to do. There we go. Let's consider... let's consider bowing. So, obviously, there's a limit to the amount of bow string that a string player has access to, right? So you can't have someone drag out a note forever. However, of course, in this case, that won't really be an issue because I'm asking them to play tremolo. So they are going to basically do this, right? And they're gonna like use their bow, and they're gonna be like at the very tip almost, and then just kind of jiggle that back and forth like this very quickly. So, and you know, the louder you want to get, the more they're gonna go move like further in and like do slightly larger strokes, right, back and forth. So in that case, that won't actually be necessary. But otherwise, like bow and like bowing direction, there are some orchestrators and composers who like to write their bow direction markings in the score. What I've heard from a lot of string players is that they normally don't like that because they will, like, if they're session musicians, right, they're still gonna do their own bow markings anyway, and they're gonna do that in a way so that everyone does the same thing at the same time anyway. So you writing bowing directions isn't really that necessary, and in fact, normally undesirable. Instead, what you want to do is you want to kind of consider what they would do, right? Like if you have like a series of like, wow, I have a mic, did you know? It's right in front of me, right here. So if I want to do like a series of like really loud eighth notes, for instance, but with an eighth note pause in between, right? They're going to do like this. They're going to do all of them like downstrokes. So that's useful to know if I then want them to do like a quick passage upwards or something. But then again, they will normally figure that one out on their own. And of course, they always have me on hand so they can ask me. All right, let's extend. Let's not extend those. That's another thing I'm not entirely sure why you can't do in Dorico. I would like, because those hairpins were the exact same length. I should have been able to just select both of them like this and then change the length, but I can't for some reason. Anyway. How are we all doing? I'm not seeing a whole lot of people here anymore, which is a shame. But then again, I am streaming at like 4:30 on a Sunday Swedish time, 4:30 p.m. So I get it. This is more going to be like a test stream just to make sure that everything works, like the levels and everything. And once I know that everything works, I can try to like experiment with different times. I might stream a lot earlier or a lot later to see if I can catch more people. But we've been going for like 1.5 hours, so that's cool. we might round this off relatively soon, but at least we've been writing a little bit. We've done some stuff. We've felt things out. Let's get going on this next section. So it's not an issue in this case here, but normally, like, if you want to switch from, let's say, I mean, it's not a big issue here, like if I wanted to switch from tremolo to normal bowing, but if I want to switch from arco bowing to pizzicato, which is, you know, plucking the strings, you would want to give the string player a little bit of time to move their hands so that they can do that, right? Because, like, if they are playing like back and forth like this, right, then they will want to grab the bow in their hand, move their hand up, and then pluck the strings, right? So you want to give them ample time to do that. They don't need like an entire measure to do that. That's not necessary, but you want to give them a little bit of breathing room. And I like to kind of include that. Now, in this case, that won't really be necessary because we're going to do all the pizzicato in the poor double basses, who will just be regulated to bum 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 for most of this, I think. But we'll see. What are you doing, double basses? I think when we go into the 3/4 section, we are looking at both the double bass and cello and possibly viola doing pizzicato chords, which is cool, but that's another little challenge. I will likely have to DVC up. Well, we have the VCD. Well, I will have to DVC up the cello. And likely keep the viola there as well, and just have maybe the second violas in the divisi here do the pizzicatos, and then have the top viola be the bass of the newly generated little top string choir there. Interesting. We're not going to get there today, I don't think, but that's a fun little thing to get to. This entire section here is going to be murder, because I can clearly tell that I'm doing kind of like a free meter thing. I'm certainly not keeping to a 4/4 here. You know what we really should be doing? This is the smartest thing to do. We want to just write down the Celesta rhythm before we do anything else, I think. Yeah. I think that's the best thing to do. And yeah, Emma, that's right. That's a great point. We can adjust the start time. I think probably what I'll do is I'll start later in the day next time. Like I'll start around like 8 in the evening, my time. That'll be around lunchtime for most Americans, and I think that's going to be like a smarter move probably. But hey, you know, I had to start somewhere. Let's see. What kind of shenanigans was 2011, 2010 Frederick getting up to here? Da-da-da. All right. So this is going to look extremely scary because it's all going to be 16th notes. Well, not all of it. But yeah, it's going to be... Oh, man. All right. We wanna get a slightly faster tempo here. Yeah, you know what? Let's... Oh, I tapped create instead of tap, but that's probably closer. Hang on, let me just... Yeah, that's exactly it. I'm basic. I'm not going to write this in Italian. I might ask one of my Italian friends later, just, hey, how do I write this in a cool way so it looks nice in Italian? But right now, I'm going with basic English. Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be a nice... You know, it would probably make a whole lot more sense if I put that direction here, because then they'll essentially get 3 clicks of 90 before they have to get in to a more like regulated rhythm. So let's put that there instead, and let's just listen to how that's gonna sound. Let's see. Yep, that's perfect. Let's keep that there. So what they get now, since I'll be sending out click tracks to everyone as well, I always keep this in mind, right, when I'm writing. I'm going to be sending people click tracks so that they can record, and my number one priority when I do that is I want this to be as pain-free as possible for the musicians who are giving me their precious time to do something for me. I do not want this to be annoying for them. So I want them to basically be able to just put in the click track, put in the audio reference, and just play along with it and just record everything, hopefully in one take, right? And in that case, it makes a whole lot of sense, because in this measure here, that's that 3/4 measure, we only have, like, the strings are just playing this one note. It's going to be very easy then to just give them a faster click. So they'll basically get a 3-click count in for the next 4/4 measure, where we really need it to be in this 90 tempo instead. So that's going to make a lot of sense, I think. There we go. Is that the rhythm? Yeah. What am I doing here? Nope. Wow, it's getting tough to hear what the Celesta is doing here, because I have a flute in the background, and they blend very well. Like, I will give 2010, whenever this was, me credit for that, because the synth orchestration is actually quite well done here. The flute really mixes well with the Celesta, but it also makes it very difficult to hear what it's actually doing here. I think. Yeah. Low register piccolo, says Gamer of the Winds. Yeah, that's you are correct, but that's probably not what 2010 Frederick would have written, because I think 2010 Frederick thought of piccolo as only being a very high register marching music, so I think he would have chosen a flute for the Garrett Personal Orchestra sound set. But yeah, you do have a point, honestly. It might be smarter to write this passage in low register piccolo, because it'll give it that unique character. I tend to think of piccolo as a more round tone than the flute, which I feel is kind of slightly broader. That's an excellent point, actually. I might actually just add that later. I'll make a little note to myself, because honestly, that is playable, but it is probably not as good. See, this is what I'm talking about right here. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for that input. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? This is why I talk to musicians, because they will always know better than me, right? I will have this idea of this cool thing I want to do, but then it's like, no, but have you tried doing this? And I'm like, no, I haven't even thought of that. And that's where the magic happens, right? That's when we learn, when we talk to people who know better, and then we incorporate that knowledge, and then we all grow. Yes, that is perfect. I'm gonna add that right now. And honestly, I am probably just gonna delete the flute, because I don't think I'll have any use for that, at least not right now. So let's do that instead. I tend to think, still, right? It's terrible that the piccolo has such a stigma, right? Because I feel like piccolo gets, in my mind too, it gets regulated to these like very sharp bursts. Like, I think of the Disney march, right? That part, right? Like, that's what I'm thinking of when I'm hearing a piccolo in my head. That's not at all what it is. It's like, a piccolo can be virtuosic, like it can be beautiful, and I just tend to not think of it like that. I'll take you in order. Honey, is the main focus to make a better version or a very faithful update? That's an excellent point. I think I want to strike the balance so that it sounds like... I want to make it sound like a faithful retelling of the original, but with... how do I say this? I want to make an orchestration that feels more complete than the original, and to do that, I'm probably going to have to, like, well, what Gregory just suggested. I'm gonna have to re-orchestrate. I'm gonna, like, something was in a flute. Let's put that in a piccolo. I might want to add something to make the Celesta sound better, but in general, I want to keep the spirit of the original intact. Karma Jolt, hi! Man, oh man, you and I have not talked in forever. I'm really happy you're here. And this program looks a lot more, it looks like a more complicated Mario. Yeah, basically. I mean, Mario Paint it's sheet music. It's just sheet music with sound effects, right? Instead of this. But it's basically all the same. When you get right down to it, all sheet music is basically just lines that you put things on and then sound happens, right? And yeah, right, Gamer of the Winds, again, really does. Low register piccolo, so underrated and underused. Yeah, exactly. This is a great reminder to me to use the piccolo more in the lower register. And again, it's got this... A piccolo has such a different... Like, it's of the flute family, of course, but it's got this kind of, like, round, almost. I think the word that comes to mind when I think of that tone is like it's like a pearl almost, whereas the flute for me feels more like a sandy beach. I don't know if this makes any sense at all. I tend to see a lot of like pictures when I think of sounds, and the piccolo is a very pristine, crystalline kind of sound, but not necessarily because it's bright, but because it's kind of rounder. Yeah, I need to keep that in mind. Absolutely. Yep, 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 yep. All right, let's try and figure this one out. I'm not sure I'll get this actually. I think I'm doing some sort of weird skip here in the original. I might actually have to dig up the original MIDI at some point to try and see if I can figure out what I'm doing with the Celesta rhythm here. Because there is something that I'm doing here that I'm not entirely picking up because of the background radiation of the background radiation of the strings. I'm just a quote machine today. Well, I'm glad that it makes sense, both of you. Thank you. I tend to get very flowery with my language when I describe sounds. I talked to a mixing engineer the other day, and we discovered that we both have the same and yet very different ways of describing sounds, right? Like, I was like, yeah, I was doing a mix the other day and I really wanted to give it some more shine. And to him, that meant boosting the mid-high registers, and to me, that meant boosting the higher registers, right? I talked about boxiness, and to me, that means like lowering something around 200 or something, like, you know, like to get the kind of the box-like quality out of the mix a little bit, at least for if you're doing like if you're doing it on the master. And he thought of that as more like a 400 to 800 range, right? It's like, yeah, but still, I like using descriptive language. Okay, let's see. What am I? Oh, that's gonna sound terrible. But I also don't want to interrupt the rhythm. I feel like that's what I'm doing in the original. For me, Karma Jolt. For me, piccolo expresses a curiosity and flute joyful excitement. That's beautiful. Yeah, I can see that. They're both extremely agile too. Like, it's very common to do like really fast runs in both of them, like ups and downs. And in fact, I heard a flute player the other day just complain about that. Well, not complain, but they were like, it's such a shame that like flute players and piccolo players always get regulated to like just these like loud runs at the top when we're doing action cues. And it would be so much fun to do more like not just virtuoso, really stuff, but also like legato passages that are slower and more have more emotion to them. I try, right? I try to write a variety of things that are fun for my musicians to play. That's always one of my main tenets as I arrange and compose. If I'm writing for a real instrument, I want it to be fun to play. I never want one instrument to just sit there and go like brub, 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 right? Like, even the poor bassoon players I write music for sometimes have to deal with just bum 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 kind of things, right? Because that's the fate of the bassoon player, right? But I mean, as Stravinsky approved and others as well, the bassoon can sound incredibly interesting in a high register with a melody instead of just doing like the bass up and down kind of thing. But yeah, let's try and figure this out. This is very interesting. What am I doing here? Da-dum, da-dum. Am I doing some sort of... sounds like I'm doing some sort of weird... something like this. But I mean, that's terrible. Why would I do that? Yep, see, during one of the first 2 years of my schooling, I was actually a piccolo performance major, and I was in the school symphonic band. And basically, all I played were crazy runs and high notes. It actually created a very toxic, one-dimensional relationship with the instrumental relation. Oh, that's such a shame. I can see that. Yeah. Well, if I can help in any way to mitigate that in my writing, then I will have done something good, and that will make me very happy. But I understand. I really do. I think. I'm sorry, I'm talking a whole lot and I'm not writing a lot, but this is very interesting to me. One of the reasons why I always try to write interesting sections that are fun to play is that when I started playing saxophone way back in the 1800s, I was the second saxophone, right? I was saxophone 2, alto sax 2. And I never got to play any of the fun stuff because the band that I was in, we had, well, you know, we got our arrangements from elsewhere. They bought like big books of stuff, and we just, you know, and just I just ended up playing a lot of like second fiddle because, I mean, second fiddle, right? That's what you do. And the first saxophone, I'm not gonna, yeah, I don't want to be mean, but they weren't very kind. They were older than me, and they were very snobbish, and they knew exactly what they were doing, and they were very good at what they did, and they didn't want anyone to take their throne from them, right? And so I ended up being a very, you know, I played second saxophone for several years, and eventually that person graduated, went and did some other stuff, and then I got to be in the first saxophone seat. And that, the feeling of suddenly being assigned melodies, leading an entire section, I remember the euphoria of doing that to this day. And I mean, I'm not getting a big head about this. Like, I'm not gonna say that I can induce euphoria in the people playing what I write, but that's a tenet that has stuck with me, that I want it to be fun for people to play regardless, right? Like, I will frequently put like a fun melody line in the viola or the second violin, just for laughs, right? Just because I want them to have fun, not just, you know, and I mean, obviously it has to work with the orchestration as well, but I feel like you can make the orchestration work for that decision. You don't always have to stick with the cliches. Gamer of the Wind says, we played a ton of John Williams band arrangements, so you can see, yeah, I can see what you mean there. Wow. The man likes his high wind runs. Well, that is, like, if I have any way of mitigating that and then, you know, helping you to find joy in the piccolo again, then I am very happy that I'm able to do that in some small way. Let's try and figure, what the heck am I doing here? I feel like this is wrong. That's not what I'm doing, is it? Also, this is not the meter here. I'm wondering if I'm in 5/4 here. It kind of feels like I'm in 5/4. Hi, Molly. Thank you. I'm very glad you like it. It's a bit ad hoc right now because I'm kind of figuring out streaming, and also I'm trying to figure out time slots if people think this is fun to watch. But I'm very happy that you enjoy yourself. Welcome, and thank you for giving me some of your time. Currently, if people are just tuning in, wow, that dated me horribly. But yeah, if people are just tuning in to the stream, I am trying to arrange a piece of music that I wrote about 10 plus years ago for virtual instruments only, and I'm trying to arrange that piece of music for real players. And I will be doing this a couple of Sundays, from now. Hopefully, Sundays will always be my writing music stream. It might not always be Dorico arranging things. It might be Reaper composition things, depending on what projects I'm doing. If I have an NDA that I have to stick to, I will usually have an NDA I need to stick to. But still. Is this what I'm doing? Oh, man, I am wondering. I don't sense a meter from any of this part. Like, this entire section doesn't feel like it has a meter. Or was that 4/4? I feel like when it goes up to the F sharp there, I feel like that is a new measure. So let's use that as a guidepost and see if we can kind of figure that out. If that could be our guiding light for what kind of meter we find ourselves in. Let's listen to this again. Yeah, you know what? Never mind. 4/4 it is. Okay, so that's going to be a 8th note. Nope, that's not the one. That's the one. And then it's going to be... Triplets are still a bit of a hassle in Dorico, I find. That's not what I told you to do at all, Dorico. No, not even remotely. There we go. And then we want to do 16th notes. No. Okay. Let's not and say we did. Let's instead do this. And then tell Dorico after the fact that those are a triplet. Yep, that was a lot smarter. That is unrealistic. I'm asking the Celesta player right now to do a triplet and then immediately land in a rolled chord. I'm asking them to do... I mean, I guess, depending on the speed, they might automatically do that, but I feel like if I write... Like, if I write... If I write this, and then give it... where is it? There it is. One of these, that is at this tempo and the speed I'm asking the player to do things. Well, I guess they do have two hands, right? So they could put the higher figure in the right hand and then put the lower figure in the left hand, and that could work. I'm debating whether or not I should add a little instruction here with like an RH and LH. But honestly, I also don't want to play... I don't want to treat my Celesta player as if they are a child. So... Molly, this is Dorico 4 Pro. It is... I used Finale for like 10 years or so. And then one day I had enough. And I did a brief transition into Muse Score. MuseScore is an excellent little app, by the way, and it's completely free and well, not open source, but it is GPL, so it is free. And it's also being worked on right now to get to like a version 4, and it's looking really, really cool. But I switched to Dorico. It's actually, I joked a little bit earlier in the stream about Dorico. Like when you write in Dorico, you write the way that Dorico wants you to. But at the same time, for someone like me, I'm not an engraver. And for those who are not into music terminology and stuff, an engraver is basically someone who makes the sheet music look good on paper so that people can read it well and, following all the conventions and stuff. I'm not an engraver. I get things wrong, and therefore, it's almost kind of like a nice crutch to have Dorico go, no, that's not how that's supposed to be. Like, Finale would absolutely just let me write, like, a quarter note on a weak beat, and it wouldn't even care, right? But in Dorico is just gonna go, nah, that's not how you do it, and then it'll just change it. And there's a certain degree of security in that for me, because I don't have to think that much about correct notation. Most of the time, Dorico will get that right. I should also mention that the playback is being handled by an external software or instrument bank and magic wizard called Note Performer, which is just something that is running in Dorico. It plays my audio. It's analyzing the sheet music in real time. Well, not in real time. It does it just before I press play. And then it performs the music so it sounds better. It's actually been a bit of a game changer for me, honestly. It's a very nice thing to have. Well, I'm glad, Molly. And thank you for asking. I still think that this is wrong, but I'm still... I'm extremely unsure as to what I am actually doing here in the original. And also, this is wrong because there has to be a little bit of a lead up to that measure. And I mean, that's not exactly what I'm doing either. But I'm starting to think that maybe this is the best I'll be able to do right now. And I think before the next stream, I might just hunt down the old MIDI output from this, because I do know I tried doing something like a similar concept to this a while ago when I wanted to just update this with better VSTs. And I know that I hunted down this MIDI specifically, like for this track, because I wanted to know what the heck I was doing, because I really liked this passage that was going in the background. But, for now, I think I'm just going to leave it like this. I do think, however, that I'm starting to do some time signature shenanigans at some point here. Let's listen again. I'm just going to count to 4 and see if I can make this make sense. Yeah, that's where we start messing up, isn't it? I'm wondering what I'm doing. Because that clearly, bum, 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 that is clearly a new measure. And yeah, just to expand on what Emma says here, this game, the game this was made for was a dramatic pixel art platformer about a little white ghost-looking creature of a forest fighting a scary corruption. Yeah, exactly. The original track, again, for those just joining me here, I wrote this original piece of music for a game that was never released. It was called Mistling, and it was about forest spirits in a forest that is gradually being overtaken by corruption. and you had to travel to these different areas. A lot of the game was going to be in black and white, but it was very, like, the art style was extremely evocative. And I got really into this. Like, I wrote music, like a lot of music. I think I wrote like about 30 tracks for it, and I gave it my all. And it just never happened. I mean, for various reasons. People went their separate ways. It kind of just ran out into the sand, which is, it's a shame when that happens, but it does happen with a lot of game projects. And this was a student project too. So when everyone graduated, well, people got jobs, people joined bigger studios, people formed their new studios, and then this idea kind of just fell by the wayside. And then Ori and the Blind Forest came out a lot later, which was very similar in, like, Ori very much looks like the main character from Mistling. Just complete coincidence, right? But yeah, this soundtrack has always had like a special place in my heart. And that's why I'm doing this. I kind of want to see if I can breathe new life into this and just release it out into the world, just as a fun thing for me, right? So eventually, when I do get this recorded, it's going to be something that y'all can buy on Bandcamp if you feel like it, and it'll probably also be up on like Tidal and Apple Music and stuff like that. But that is going ahead a little bit. All right, let's try and figure this one out. I'm probably gonna stop in a little bit now. I'm still not feeling entirely 100% okay. I've been sick for a while, so... I'm wondering if it's not just best to just write exactly what I'm hearing and not care that much about measures for now, and then just see where we land, right? And then when we get to that like downbeat kind of thing on the pizzicato strings, then I think we'll know where we're at. Wow, this one hangs there in just an entire quarter, right? Yeah, it does. Oh, thank you for subscribing, Molly. I'm sorry for the extremely generic alert sound and animation. I have just started this entire streaming shenanigans, so hopefully that'll look and sound better in the future, but I'm very happy. I think actually you might be like my first subscriber. Wow. I'm doing this whole streaming thing now. It's for real. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, maybe? Yeah. Yeah. I almost had that there. Hmm. I can feel my ears and my brain going now. Why am I not picking this up? Ah. Yeah, that is right. Dun, 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 dun. Ah, I'm wondering if this is where the time signature shenanigans is happening. Because I think it might be. Dun, dun. Oh, wow. Is that what I'm doing? Yeah, it is. I mean, that's just an extra beat. So that's nice. Okay, let's just go ahead and call this 5-4. And then we're back to 4-4 again, maybe. Now, let's hope that 2010 Frederick was lazy and was content to copy-paste this little passage here. Almost. He was almost content with copy-pasting, but not quite. Why couldn't he have been content with copy-pasting? Things could have been so much simpler if he were, but nope. He was not. Hi, Half Imp. Thank you. I'm glad you like this. I'm sorry this is a little slow. Normally, if I were composing something, this would go a lot faster. What I'm trying to do now is like arranging something I'm listening to and trying to do it as accurately as possible. So that's gonna take a little longer. But I'm glad you're enjoying this nonetheless. I may switch this up next Sunday and do an original thing instead, which is gonna go a lot faster. Okay, let's see. I'm wondering what So, I have no idea what 10 years ago Frederick was doing, but I'm starting to just think that maybe 2010 Frederick wrote this passage and thought it was pretty cool, but then after he had copy-pasted it 4 times in a row, decided that I shouldn't just copy-paste. I should switch things up just occasionally. And so he did that, but then he just went in with like the little scissor tool and just deleted certain sections and added some small parts here and there. Because I'm clearly copy-pasting the same rhythm over and over again. I'm just changing some small parts, which is making 2022 Frederick quite annoyed with 2010 Frederick. But we are going to eat what is on our plate. Let us see if we can hear the difference in what I'm doing here. So this is correct, I think. And then this is going to be... Yeah, so this is just back to here again. And this first measure, I think, is identical. And this might also be identical. So I guess 2010 Frederick was also... He didn't want to repeat himself, but he was also lazy, so... Oh, the only thing I changed was the last measure. Okay. Yeah, sure. 2010 me? You do you. What did I do here, though? Oh, okay. Did I just do that as a 16th note instead? Oh man, I'm too slow now. Yeah, I did. Right? Yep. That is what I did, I'm fairly sure. Yep. So, am I doing the same thing again after that? Ah, spicy. All right, so now this final part here. What did I do there? That was not the right popover. Shift M, 4/4. What I did do last... Okay, so I did the exact same thing. Okay, that's even funnier. I didn't even go in here and there and splice things out and change certain things. I copy-pasted the entire thing and only changed the last part of the figure. Hilarious. Anyway, so this is going to be... You know what? I could write this in 3/4 or 6/4, I mean, which I suspect 2010 me would have thought of this as. But since I'm going into a 3/4 like routine later, let's not, and just do this as 3/4 instead. Da, 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 da. Right? That's gonna be what I did. Yep, there we go. Well, we have successfully transcribed the Celesta part of that entire section. Excellent. Let's also add the pizzicato in the double bass. That's just a... Oi. Do the thing. And then we are going to go into the Shift P for playing techniques, and we are going to type out pits. And when we do that, Dorico writes a pizzicato and sends a little MIDI message so that... And let's put that as a message. It's an aggressive pizzicato, right? And there won't be that many double basses in a full string orchestra. There'll be like 8, I think. So that should be fine. And then honestly, I think the next time it comes in is over here, like before the 4/4. Let's see. Bum. Yep. Nope. There it is. So that's what it's gonna be. Yeah. Oh. Bum bum. That's me copy pasting again. Wait, am I doing this wrong now? That doesn't happen until 1 beat in. There we go. No matter it like no wonder it sounds weird and you can't quite get a handle on the meter. These little double bass pizzicatos don't really do things when you expect them to. And then we're into, yeah, this part. Which is going to be so much fun for my poor double bass players. We're just gonna DVC these here, I think. Split you. And then add like a little, yeah, I guess mezzo forte could work. Oh, and we should also tell them that it's pizzicato now. And then we're gonna do... Yeah, that's gonna sound nice, I think. Oh yeah, that's like that. I think that's exactly what I'm doing actually. And then we'll just write. So we have that's gonna make more sense when we add the rest of the strings, I think. And that's, yeah, that's too long. Yeah. There we go. So that's gonna be that. I think I'm slowly winding down now to the point where my brain is not really processing things that well anymore. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna listen through this and thus far what we've done, and I might add a little bit of the piccolo here to see if my brain will work with me. And then I think we might round this off today and continue in a week. I hope that's fine with everyone. then there's this odd little figure here, which by the way was the main theme of the game. This that was something that occurred a lot during in the soundtrack. The actual main theme went. That was like the main theme. Let's see. What the heck am I doing here? Am I doing like a half note triplet across 2 bars? Dun, dun, dun. Right? Yeah, 1, 2. Dun, 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 dun. Let's just write that in there. That's not what it is. Whoa! Oh, whatchimama. Nope, that's not at all what I wanted. Is it just 4th? Yeah, it might just be quarter triplets here. Okay, why are you doing this? It's because I have quarter notes selected. If I have... No, that makes no difference at all. I mean, that is what it is, but this is gonna sound... Yeah, that's gonna look terrible. Because it's not. Yeah, let's see. You know what? That could actually work. Even though that looks terrible. Yep. That is what I'm doing. All right. Let's try to pick it this way. A little grace note here. And let's put all of that under a slur so that the piccolo player knows that I want all of this to be played together. In one, like starting with one tonguing here and then just letting the grips do the fingering do the rest and no extra tonguing here. Let's see. Yes. So you hear like how Note Performer actually changed how it played that back. So without the slur, right, this would just be like this. Right? That's like Note Performer really emphasizes every single note there. But if I just cover this in a slur like this, then this is considered a legato passage, and then we get this instead. Which is exactly what I wanted. Okay, you know what? I think, let me look at the data here. We've been going for about 2.5 hours now. I think this might actually be a pretty good time to wrap this up for today. It's been fun, this. I am fully intend to keep doing this every Sunday from now on. It's going to be music composition or a music arranging stream in some form. Exactly when that's going to happen is still going to be a little bit ad hoc as I figure this out. Since I'm in Sweden, which is in Central European time, that means that I will have to really consider the rest of the world before I start the stream. I think I might start it later. So around like maybe like 7 or 8 my time, which would be around lunchtime for most of my American friends. I think I might do that because then more people might be able to join. We'll see if we continue this next week or if we start working on something else. I may have finished this by then, and then we'll just listen through it and we'll tackle the next one. Or I have another project that we're going to do. I might have a VGM arrangement that I'm doing, like an existing game music thing that I'm arranging. I might write something original. I have a really cool idea that I want to do once hopefully this thing like starts to get a little traction, where I write music from memory from a video game, but like based on like suggestions for you folks. That's something I really want to get into, that because that's fun to me. But we'll see what I do. That might be a few months before I start doing that, because I just want to see if people are interested in coming to watch every week. And I've heard that the algorithm likes consistency, so that's what we'll be doing. Yeah. Well, thank you, Hathimp. I'm very happy to hear that. I'm sorry I missed your subscribing. I don't think Stream Elements showed that alert. I saw Molly's, but I didn't see you. So thank you for subscribing. I hope to make this worthwhile. Before I wrap up, the channel that I'm streaming this to, Fredrik Hetén Music, I have tons and tons of stuff on there. Well, not tons and tons, but quite a few things on there. A lot of video game music arrangements that I've written for real orchestra that has been recorded by real musicians, including the entire Materia Collective catalog that was taken down from streaming platforms earlier this year. That is still up on my channel. I intend to keep it up there. I may remove the Materia logo because Materia no longer has those in their catalog, but we'll see. And I will be uploading more video game music arrangements there as they are released and as I have time to make videos. So if you aren't subscribed to my channel, then, please feel free to do so, because there will be some more things happening there. But yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out today. This was fun. I will be back next week for more. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely rest of your Sunday. Bye.